Let's see just how easy it is to connect Ask Steve to any API or webhook. So Ask Steve makes a post request with a JSON object, and in the header and body, you can include whatever static data you want. You can include page variables, which is data taken from the current page, user variables, which is things you've asked the current user for, or system variables, which is things like the title or the URL of the page that you're currently looking at. And now once your API or webhook does its processing, it will return a JSON object. And by default, Steve looks for the response field in a field called message, or an error in an error field. You can configure these to be whatever you want, so it doesn't have to be these. And the message response here is what's shown to the user, and that can include HTML and Markdown links. So you can write that API in whatever code or language you want to and host it wherever you want to. In this case, for a demo, I built a sample one using a visual workflow builder called N8N. And what this flow does is it takes some unstructured leads and uses AI to turn them into structured leads, and then writes them into a Google tracking sheet, and also constructs a confirmation message with a link to that sheet. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab the webhook URL, because I'm going to use that when I build the Ask Steve skill. And I can see here that this flow is going to be expecting two arguments, leads and underscore URL, which is the URL of the current page. And if we go look at the return value, we can see I am in fact returning an object with a message field, and then that message has a markdown link to the Google Sheet as well as some HTML. Okay, so far we haven't touched Ask Steve. We've just been understanding how this all works and setting up our backend API. Now let's go do the Ask Steve part. So I'm going to do it on this page, but I can do it anywhere. I'm going to open up the Ask Steve side panel, click on the Skills tab, and then click on New to add a new skill. And I'm going to say I want it to be add leads to Google Sheets. And I'm going to send in those two arguments that the API is expecting, which is the leads from the page, whatever I have highlighted, as well as the URL of the current page. I want to add a button to this page just for demo purposes to make it really easy. And now I go down to premium features, which is what calling an API is. And I'm going to select that this is an API or webhook. And I'm going to paste in that URL I copied earlier. And everything else I'm going to leave the same, because I don't actually need to change any of it. I'm sending back a message in the message field, so all's good. So I'm just going to hit save. Now I'm going to close that side panel. We can see I have my new button here, add leads to Google Sheets. And then I can pick some people here. I'll pick these two, and I'll click add leads to Google Sheets. And now it's calling that backend API, that one I just showed you. And it's constructed the response message. And if I click link to the sheet here, we'll see in a second, my entries just got added. So it's that easy. It took me literally seconds to wire that up in Ask Steve to an existing API. And if you have any questions, let us know in our user community. Otherwise, try it out and let us know how it goes. Thanks.